Yasodanandana Ratachanaranjana Yamunatira Yamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Kapitana Vallabha Girivardhare Kapitana Vallabha Girivardhare Yasodanandana Ratachanarandana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Bhagavata Saragana Krishna Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Iskon Samstabhakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vindi Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Thakur Ki Jai Prem Saga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasubhuda Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Girivaran Ki Jai Vandavandam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Navitam Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki All glories to the 70 devotees. All glories to the 70 devotees. All glories to the 70 devotees. Namo Shivadaya Krishna Vastaya Mutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tenhamane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatyari Shatari. So we will continue with the Transcendental Diary by Hari Sauri Prabhu. So Srila Prabhupada is in Vrindavan. September 29th, 1976. Okay, you found it? Prabhupada answered his mail. This is a couple of pages. On the fourth page, after. Prabhupada answered his mail. Okay? You got it? Okay? You found it?
You can start.
Huh?
We will try. You can start.
You don't have the book? I'll just start, huh? Prabhupada answered his mail during his noon massage. Dwarakesha sent another letter addressed to Harikesh Maharaj. He had a number of questions about the style of preaching program he should conduct in Eastern Europe. Prabhupada answered it by reiterating his previous instruction to Harikesh. Yes, Kirtan and Prasad will appeal to even the uneducated. Das haben wir schon gelesen. Anyway, so we start with this afternoon. Srila Prabhupada received a visit from an Indian doctor who works with the United Nations at the International Court of The Hague, Holland. He was an intelligent and respectful man, well versed in Sanskrit, and has been reading Srila Prabhupada's books. He had a number of questions about the chanting of the mantra, especially Om, which he had been told was only to be uttered by sannyasis. Prabhupada corrected this misunderstanding and explained that chanting Om is the same as chanting the name of Krishna. If it is chanted with that understanding, he said, it is beneficial as chanting the Maha Mantra, although generally people think of something impersonal when they chant Om. So it was therefore better to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada presented some questions of his own. Prabhupada presented some questions of his own to the doctor. Do you think United Nations is making any tangible progress? Since Prabhupada has expressed some skepticism about the UN, earlier the doctor was politely defensive. Sir, it is at least brings people together under one umbrella to discuss. If you did not have that, you'll fight, because if we don't meet at all, then they will have the struggle. But Prabhupada didn't agree. No. If you have no idea how to come to a conclusion, chiram vichidvam, you can forever go on discussing. You'll never come. You do not know that what is the aim. Nate vidu svarta gatim hivishnum durasya ye bahirartha manina. Maybe so, the doctor said. But if two people, instead of coming to blows, come together to talk, it is a step in the right direction. Prabhupada shook his head. No right direction, because he does not know what is the aim. The doctor tried to maintain a hopefully outlook. They both want to have peace, so they at least try to. Everyone said, everyone wants that, Prabhupada cut in. But if he doesn't know how to attain peace, then go on discussing forever. That is going on. But it is still a step in the right direction, the doctor asserted. Otherwise, what is the aim? Otherwise, there is, Prabhupada told him, but you don't take. How it can be done. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Bhoktaram yakyatabasam sarvaloka maheshvaram suriram sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. This is the process. But if you don't take it, it was obvious that the doctor did not want to say that he thought the words of the Bhagavad Gita wrong, but he clearly did not have the same faith in them as Prabhupada. He politely hedged, but if that realization does not dawn till that realization, then you go on barking, Prabhupada told him candidly. That is another thing. The doctor laughed. It's better to bark than to bite. One day after barking, they would still come to a conclusion. Prabhupada didn't share this opinion. No, let it be known, fact, that will never come. If you do not know what is the aim, that is stated, Durasya che bahirartha maninaha. This means a bad hope, that by this external exhibition of manipulation of energy they will come to peace. It is not possible. Andayatandhira upayandhimana. This kind of leading is made by the blind leaders. If the leaders are blind and the followers are blind, what result will be there? So, no, Srila Prabhupada maintained his his point, that there's no peace unless it's a peace formula given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is a creator, so he knows the laws of the creation. Just like when you buy a sophisticated machine, like microphones or maybe computer or something, you always have a manual. They give you a manual. And when you read the manual or follow the instructions of the manual, you get the utmost benefit of that machine. Whereas when you sit down and speculate, then, you don't, at least you waste a lot of time speculating. Or maybe even breaking the machine, creating some disaster with the machine. So Prabhupada was insisting on the peace formula of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yakatabasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. The peace formula is based on 3 points. That Krishna, Bhoktaram, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Everything is meant to be used in the service of Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. Then Suridam Sarvabhutanam. Bhaktaram Yakatapasam. That Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Proprietor of everything. Every single thing is the property of Krishna. And that's what we learn it as devotees, to occupy everything in the service of Krishna. This is actually the teachings that we are learning here, and how to serve Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, he's the supreme proprietor, and he is a Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the only friend that we have. We might have some friends during this life, but the next life you have other friends and enemies. But Krishna is always there. Life after life, Krishna is always thinking of of us, how to help us to become happy. Just like Prabhupada gave us this mantra, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, and be happy. What is this movement for? What is these teachings for? The Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita, that we become happy. Just become happy. No, they're looking for happiness everywhere, especially now on the weekend. The neighbors here, in the summer they always have a feast here. They must also take some stimulant, drugs or some beer or something like that. They're screaming and laughing like that. And then they go home, and it's over. And then they have all the problems with overnight. They have to sleep more. They have to, they've got a headache from something, something like that. Anyway, so the real happiness, Ananda, is unlimited. This is our relationship with Krishna. It's unlimited. Life after life, life after life. But as soon as we get a human body, wow, we can actually revive. Or how I say, revive is eternal relationship with Krishna, which is Satchidananda Vigraha. No? Yeah. Anyway, so let's go back. Any questions? Kannst du jetzt mal das Ding hier wieder reinbauen? Ich weiß nicht genau, wie das geht. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. So we are at the what chapter are we in?
The first chapter. So we are in the Bhusana chapter, first verse.
What is the exact number there?
271. 271.
Yes. So we continue with the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we are starting a new chapter, chapter 7. The Lord begins his tour of South India. In his Amrita Bhasya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur summarizes the 7th chapter as follows. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of life in the months of Magda, January, February, and went to Jagannath Puri in the months of Phalguna, February, March. He saw the Dola Yatra festival in the months of Phalguna, and in the months of Chaitra, he liberated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. During the months of Vishaka, he began to tour South India. When he proposed to travel to South India alone, Sri Nityananda Prabhu gave him a Brahmana assistant named Krishnadas. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was beginning his tour, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave him 4 sets of cloth and requested him to see Ramananda Roy. No, it says here Ramananda Raya, but Prabhupada always said Ramananda Roy, who was residing at that time on the bank of the river Godavari, along with other devotees. Nityananda Prabhu accompanied the Lord to Alanatha, but there Lord Chaitanya left them all behind and went ahead with the Brahmana Krishnadas. The Lord began chanting the mantra Krishna, 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 Hey. No, that Prabhupada is putting this on the beginning of the Krishna book. Krishna, 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 Hey. In whatever village he spent the night, whenever a person came to see him in his shelter, the Lord implored him to preach the Krishna consciousness movement. After teaching the people of one village, the Lord proceeded to another village, to other villages to increase devotees. In this way, he finally reached Kurmasthana. While there, he bestowed his causeless mercy upon a Brahmana called Kurma and cured another Brahmana named Vasudeva, who was suffering from leprosy. After curing this Brahmana leper, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received the title Vasudevamrita Prada, meaning one who delivered nectar to the leper Vasudeva. So we continue now with the text. Danyam tam naumi chaitanyam Danyam tam naumi chaitanyam Vasudevam dayadradi Nashtakushtam rupa pushtam Bhaktitushtam chakarayah Danyantam naumi chaitanyam Vasudevam dayadradahi Nashtakushtam rupa pashtam Bhaktitushtam chakarayah Naumyam tam naumi chaitanyam Vasudevam dayadrahi Bhaktitushtam chakarayah Vasudevam dayadradi Nastakushtam rupa pushtam Ladies, Vidaman. Jami Chaitanyam Vasudevam dayadrahi Nashtakushtam rupa pushtam Bhaktitushtam chakarayah Tam yantam nami chaitanyam Dayadrahi Yustam chakarayah Danyam auspicious Tam unto him Naomi I offer obeisances Chaitanyam Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vasudevam and to the Brahmana Vasudeva Daya Adradi being compassionate Nashtakushtam cured the leprosy Rupa Pushtam beautiful Bhakti Tushtam satisfied in devotional service Chakara, mate, Ya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being very compassionate toward a Brahmana named Vasudeva, cured him of leprosy. He transformed him into a beautiful man satisfied with devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the glorious Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he gives a little glimpse here, of what will happen on his tour to South India, which will be described more extensively later on. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Translation. All glories, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. These are a lot of verses now without any explanation from Srila Prabhupada. Matte sarva bhaumera nihtara karila dakshina gamana prabhuda icha upajila. After delivering Sarvabhaumacharya, the Lord desired to go to South India to preach. Maga Shukla Pakshi Prabhu Karila Sanyasa Palgune Ashishya Kaila Nila Chalavasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the months of Magha. During the following months, Falguna, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. Falgunera Sheshe Dola Yatra Sedikila Pramaya Veshitaha Bahun Nritya Gita Kaila. At the end of the months of Falguna, he witnessed the Dola Yatra ceremony, and in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced in various ways on the occasion. So dancing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. Yes, I mean, we can't imagine how his dancing was. But as Shastras say that whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, everyone was so attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just by seeing him. He was so extremely beautiful. What to say of his dancing? Actually, I heard once that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing like a falling leaf. When a leaf comes from the tree, falls down from the tree, goes on. Chaitre Radhikaila Savapauma Vimochana Vaishakera Prahane Dakshina Yaite Hailamana. During the months of Chaitra, while living in Jagannath Puri, the Lord delivered Sarvabhaumacharya. And at the beginning of the next month, Vaishaka, he decided to go to South India. So he, like it's mentioned in the beginning, he converted Sarvabhaumacharya to become a devotee. And this is a long story. Actually this has, like I mentioned before, this has been told so many times, the whole issue, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting with Sarvabhaumacharya, Sarvabhaumacharya meeting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all these meetings that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had ended that those people became devotees. Very convincing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very convincing. Very, very convincing. His whole behavior, his words. Every word that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke had deep significance like that. Just like Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam. There's so much significance in every word, every verse. And sometimes Prabhupada When verses are very important, he gives a long purport to make it real clear, the meaning, real meaning of the verse, to help us to have a better understanding. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered Bhattacharya, and the next month he decided to go to South India. Nichagane anikahe vinaya kariya alingana kari subhaya srihastadhariya Thoma sabhajaniyami pranahikakari pranacharayai Thoma sabha chatitina pari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all his devotees together and holding them by the hand, humbly informed them, "You are all more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give you up, but to give you up is difficult for me." Yeah, there's another expression of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the devotees were so dear to him. He even says here, "You are more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give you up is difficult for me." Now, this is actually what is also part of our purification. You start appreciating more and more everything that is given to you, especially the sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastri koi. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. This was also, the devotee mentioned this verse yesterday on his class, and there were only 3 people listening. So this verse, sadhu sangha, is the most important. Sarva shastri koi. This is the conclusion of the Shastras amongst all the principles. And devotional service. Association with devotees is the most important. And then it's a lavamatra sadhu sangha. A fraction, even if this association is only for a fraction of a second. This is actually from Kapila Muni, explaining, analyzing time. The days of Brahmana, then he goes down to the minute times. And lavamatra actually means it's an insignificant part of a second. And then it says, if this association is possible, just by this association, one obtains all success in life. Of course, when we speak about success in life, we have to know the purpose of life. Real success in life is that one achieves self-realization. The Bhagavad Gita starts with self-realization. And first Krishna is explaining the real identity of the soul. And then self-realization and then God realization. In the transcourse of this explanation, because actually our real identity is not only that we are spirit soul, eternal spirit soul, but we are eternal servants of Krishna. That's our natural function. So, and Prabhupada emphasizes so much the purpose of life. Normally, people don't know about the purpose of life. They're just limiting everything to sense gratification, looking for their own benefit, own pleasure, satisfaction, self-satisfaction. So then we continue. I'm reading now a part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita with no purpose. Tumi sababandhu mora bandhu kritya kaila ihanani mora jagannatha le kaila. You are all my friends, and you have properly executed the duties of friends by bringing me here to Jagannath Puri and given me the chance to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. So, of course, we all know the importance of Jagannath Puri. It's one of our main places of pilgrimage. And I remember Prabhupada was saying that because they don't let us go and get in the temple, Prabhupada had his plan to make his own temple there. Now I've been out of touch for some time. I'm not at GBC anymore. So I don't know what's going on there really. But this place is so overwhelming. They also have close to the beach, they have a huge deity. No, not a deity, but a form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he as the Acharya, Supreme Acharya, he taught us all these things, importance to visit the holy places. Like Prabhupada also, he presented these places to us with utmost importance. Vrindavan, Mathura, Jagannath Puri. So we should also go there. Actually, Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada started in Mayapur, he saw that his devotees were actually very uncomfortable. I remember we went to the first, I think it was the second festival we went in 74. And the guest house was just in construction. It was not finished. It only went to the second floor. Because why they had made this, sometimes I gave so much importance to the second floor because that was Prabhupada's room. How had a very beautiful room there. He has a room where he used to sit down, and translate and also receive guests. And the other room is his bedroom. And in the bedroom he has a very beautiful deity of Lord Chaitanya. Very nice deity. Anyway, so in the beginning this was a construction. That's a construction. And after a short while, everyone was sick. And we were laying everywhere, around everywhere. I remember we were laying there on the floors that were not finished, and Prabhupada made a walk around and saw us all like on the floor. And Srila Prabhupada said, we all with diarrhea. Diarrhea is a typical disease that you get when you go the first time to India, diarrhea. And so I remember, if I remember properly, what Prabhupada said, you should all work, be active. But that was very difficult at that time. So, and then Prabhupada constructed a big building, a long building of 2 floors. And thinking of the devotees coming to India, to having more facilities, so they don't become sick or disturbed, and don't go, are not able to practice, devotional service there, like getting up early and all this. Anyway, so Prabhupada was also preoccupied, for us, for the devotees. He insisted. Yeah, he made comments about it. Like Westerners, they have to have a certain standard. I remember in the very beginning, the same year, we don't have any showers. We went to the fields. They had put some bamboo, bamboo there, and we used to shower there. The first thing that we were supposed to buy when we came to India, to Mayapur, was a bucket and a lota to take bath. And later on, they also went on parikram, carrying their bucket and their lota. Yeah. Anyway, so this was very simple, everything very simple. What Prabhupada wanted. And also Prabhupada actually wanted to have facilities for fine people, educated and well-situated people. And he was always making sure that whoever came to these places, like in Vrindavan, Mayapur, that they were actually taken care of properly. They had certain facilities, comfort. And this, actually, Prabhupada in his room, he had a very nice standard in his room always. wherever he went, in London, in Germany also, we used to put, wie sagt man das, so ein flaches Futter, wie sagt man das? Ich weiß nicht mehr in Deutsch, wie das alles ist. So ein Teppich, ne? Teppich, der weich ist. And he used to cover it with a white sheet. And he would put white, so Rollen, wie sagt man das? Wie hier? Habt ihr Rollen hier auch beim Vyasa von Paul? Ja. And Rollen, ne? Because in India people used to sit on the floor. And they were used to this standard, and they would lean on the rolls. I say, no? Yeah, like that. Anyway, so here, how did I get to this? Oh, so he went to India. He went to Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the story goes that actually he had taken sannyas. No? I guess this will also be in this mentioned in the same chapter. He had taken sannyas. No, he went, I don't remember the name, the place where he went to take sannyas, but he went with many followers. And the devotees were all completely emotional about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take sannyas. They didn't see any reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to practice austerities. No? So when he sat down and they were about to shave him, he had nice long hair, curly hair like that. So when he sat down to be shaved, also der Rasier, wie sagt man doch, der Barbier, no? Yeah. In Spanish, barbaro. Yeah, barber, the barber. So the barber couldn't, he was crying. And all the devotees that follow us, were sitting there crying. They couldn't imagine that they would shave Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah? But nevertheless, he insisted because he wanted to take sannyas and to give an example. Yeah? Just in the Shastra, in this form, Krishna appears as a devotee and he takes sannyas at one point, to teach what real sannyas means actually. Anyway, so, and then the devotees were very upset. When they left this place, they were very upset that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas and all. And at one point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was about to take a bath in the river. So he gave his danda, sannyas danda, he gave to Nityananda to take care of it. And when he came back from taking a bath, Nityananda had broken the danda and thrown into the river. Because Nityananda was very upset, because he knew that Chaitanya was actually not necessarily going to take sannyas. I just heard a class this morning where Prabhupada said that actually human life is meant for tapasya. Human life is meant for tapasya. Because unless you practice tapasya, you cannot become purified. Our tapasya is not to eat meat, fish, eggs, and all this. No illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. This is our tapasya. So this is the tapasya is meant to purify ourselves. Unless you become purified, you cannot understand what God is, what Krishna is. You cannot. Even though you try, speculating or inventing things, no. You can only become Krishna conscious if you become purified. And so tapas is meant for purification. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu insisted, so that he wanted to preach like a sannyasi. And because he had broken his danda, he didn't want to travel with them anymore. He left them all behind. And only accompanied, like Prabhupada says here, by his servant. In this way, he came to Jagannath Puri without the devotees. And this was also very spectacular. He went into the temple and he fell to the floor. In ecstasy, he fell to the floor in front of the altar. By seeing the deities on the altar, became so overwhelmed, he fell down in front of the altar. And Sarvabhaumacharya was in the temple. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the temple, he immediately became attracted. Wow, who's this? A young sannyasi, beautiful sannyasi. And he felt compassion. He thought that this sannyasi is so beautiful, so nice. He will have difficulties in his ashram, in his sannyas. And so he followed him, and he saw he fell down in front of the altar. And immediately the guards came, the guards. And they wouldn't tolerate that somebody was sleeping in front of the altar, like in the temple. So they were intending to get him up and throw him out of the temple. And Sarvabhaumacharya, who was a very respected and very noble, very learned Pandit, he immediately interfered, and he took him home. Anyway, this story we heard so many times in the previous chapter. Anyway, so Sarvabhaumacharya felt compassion with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And out of compassion, he offered him to teach him the Vedanta Sutra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted, because his idea was to transfer this Pandit into a Vaishnava, a devotee. And Sarvabhaumacharya was speaking very high philosophy about Vedanta Sutra. And he spoke for 7 days. 7 days, imagine, from the morning to night, just hearing the commentaries of Sarvabhaumacharya. And at the end, he challenged him. He said, how come? I've been seeking for 7 days. You don't have any question? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with much respect, he told him, actually, I know Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is like the sun. Your commentaries are like the clouds covering the sun. And in this way, so he was asked to give his own commentaries. And then Sarvabhaumacharya was so overwhelmed hearing these commentaries that he became a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as this had finished, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was about to continue his travel to see Ramananda Roy, the great. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed for some time in Jagannath, and then he also participated in the Ratha Yatra and all this. And then he also made the king a devotee, Prataparudra, the king of Puri. There's still kings in Puri. I've seen one. He actually came once to Berlin for the Ratha Yatra. He participated. And he took the broom, like Prataparudra did. Yeah. And he cleaned the street before the procession like that. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will continue now. Because this has already been described very lot of details in the previous chapter. Eve Saba Stane Munyi Magone Kadane Sabeme Agyadeha Yaiba Dakshine. I now beg all of you for one bit of charity. Please give me permission to leave for a tour of South India. Vishvarupa Udeshe Avashya Amiyava Ekaki Yaiva Kaho Sangina Laiva. I shall go to search out Vishvarupa. Please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me. No, so Vishvarupa. Who's Vishvarupa? Huh? He would go and search out Vishvarupa. He was his brother. The brother had left home and taken sannyasi and disappeared and never came back. So the parents of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were very heartbroken because he had been a very, very special person. Actually, he was also an incarnation of Baladeva, Vishvarupa. So, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to find out Vishvarupa. Please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me. No, actually, this is sannyas life. No? Alone. No, travel alone. Well, if one is fortunate as a sannyasi, he has an assistant. No? Assistant. And we also have experiences. It's very nice, especially if that person is very, very Krishna conscious, and very, very dedicated to his devotional service. Setubda haite amina asiyavat nilachale tumisava rahibetavat. Until I return from Setubanda, all of you, dear friends, should remain in Jagannath Puri. Vishvarupa Siddhi Bhakti Janena Sakala Dakshina Desha Udarite Karena Echala. Knowing everything, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was aware that Vishvarupa had already passed away. A pretense to ignorance was necessary, however, so that he could go to South India and liberate the people there. So he used this excuse as a pretext. Excuse. No, he was looking for Vishvarupa, but actually Vishvarupa, like it's mentioned here, had already passed. He had already given up his body. Suniya sabare mane haila mahaduka Vishava ha'ila sabara sukhaila mukha. Upon hearing this message from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees became very unhappy and remained silent with sullen faces. Nityananda Prabhu kahe aicha kaiche haya ekaki haiva tumi ke iha sahaya. Nityananda Prabhu then said, how is it possible you to go alone? Who can tolerate this? I mean, amongst his followers. Duyeka sange cha luka napade hatarange yareka hase dui cha luk tomara sange. Let one or two of us go with you, otherwise you may fall into the clutches of thieves and rogues along the way. There may be whomever you like, but two persons should go with you. So the devotees were very preoccupied. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they didn't want to go alone. Because normally when you go alone, there's a lot of problems. Dakshinera tirtapate ame savajani ame sangajai prabhu adya dehatumi. Actually, this letter, there's an N with a line on there. This is also part of the Spanish language. It's nin, nin. Not just N, but nin. It's like ajnya. J goes like J, like Maharaj, Maharaja. Nya. Dakshinera tirtapate ame savajani ame sangajai prabhu ajnya dehatumi. Indeed, I know all the paths to the different places of pilgrimage in South India. Just order me and I shall go with you. This is because Nityananda had traveled all over India, visiting different holy places before he came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You might remember this story that there came a sannyasi to the house of the parents of Nityananda. Uh, and they served him very nicely. He was so satisfied. Sannyasi was very satisfied. So then they asked him, is there anything more we can do for you? And he said, yes, give me your son, so he can accompany me in my travels. And this is interesting, no? In Vedic tradition, in Vedic culture, when you make a promise, you have to comply. Just like the father of Ramachandra also. He promised his wife, no, to fulfill two desires. No? She had assisted, helped him under very difficult circumstances. No? So he promised, he gave her the blessings, to have to have two, how you say, Wünsche. What is that? Wishes. Yeah, wishes. Yeah. So at one point, this wife came under the influence of a wicked, very wicked old lady, and she was very envious, of everyone around. And so she started influencing. What was the name of the mother? No, anyway, so at first she didn't give much importance to this because she was a very cultured lady, But then slowly, she gave in to her, And then the old lady says, look, he's making Ram the king. Your son, Bharata, what's the name of it? Bharat should be the king, the real king. And then finally she simulated some problems, health problems, and the king came. And then, is there anything I can do for you? And then she said, yes, let my son become the king, not Ram. And let Rama go to, how you say, what is it in English? Like, to reclusion. You'll get reclusion. Go into the forest for many years, and let my son become the king. And so he had to promise this. And then Ram came. He was supposed to be crowned the next day. So the whole kingdom was waiting for Ram Chandra to become the king. And when his father revealed to him what had happened, he immediately accepted, because it was a promise of his father. And anyway, so he went to the forest. This is a very nice example. And also, Prabhupada actually mentioned that when one makes a promise, he is obliged to follow. Just like at our initiation, we promise to follow the 4 principles and 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds every day. So this is all based on our truthfulness, that we actually accept what we promised. It's very serious. Naturally, amongst ordinary people, there's so much cheating and so much roughness and all this. But in Vedic culture, this was just like like Yudhishthira also. He would never speak a lie. And because he never spoke a lie, he was very powerful. Actually, he didn't even touch the floor. He was always like a little elevated, above the floor. And then at one point, Krishna told Yudhishthira, now you make a declaration that, what was the teacher? The name of the teacher of Arjuna? Huh? Ashwatthama. Drona, yeah. And tell Drona that his son Ashwatthama has died. And so Yudhishthira, as he never had spoken a lie, he didn't want to speak a lie, but actually he wanted to say, well, Ashwatthama, Bhima had gone. He knew an elephant with the name Ashwatthama. So when he heard that, he quickly went and killed the elephant, so he could actually say Ashwatthama, but not meaning the son, but actually the elephant. And so when he spoke, started the declaration, all of a sudden during when he was speaking, there was a concert. So nobody heard the elephant. Yeah. And because he had not complied with Krishna's order, immediately he took he touched the floor. Touched the floor. And even it says in the Mahabharata that at the end, when they were going to die, the Pandavas, they were actually not taking sannyas. It says that the Kshatriyas are not supposed to take sannyas, only to Vanaprastha. So that's why they went with their wife. The 5 Pandavas were traveling in direction to the Himalaya, to the north. And one after the other gave up his body. And it says that Yudhishthira had to see hell for some time. Yeah, because he had complied with the order of Krishna. So very important. So when we promise something, we're supposed to comply. Just like I'm trying to do this. Often devotees ask me, "When are you coming again?" Or when you like this. And I always say, I cannot promise because I have to comply. And I don't know, I'm not sure. Okay. You understood everything? Yeah? You speak English? Good. Prabhu kaheyami nartaka tumi sutradhara tumi aichena chao taiche nartana amara. Yeah? This is like in Spanish, they say the R, nicht wie in Deutsch, Hare Krishna, sondern Hare Krishna. Yeah? In Sanskrit it's the same thing. It's an R, das ist ein gerolltes R. Wie sagt man das in Deutsch? Ja, ja, ja. Not, yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for interfering. So translation, the Lord replied, I am simply a dancer and you are the wire puller. However you pull the wires, you make me dance. I shall dance in that way. Ja? The wires, it's like the, wie sagt man noch in Deutsch, dieses Marionettenspiel. Ne? Yeah. There was always a picture in the Bhagavad Gita. There was a capitalist and a shooter fighting. And you can see above the personality of the gunas, Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tama guna, and above you can see Krishna. So we are actually completely in the material world, completely under the same thing. Like he says here, the wires are controlling us. We are controlled. Whatever we decide, whatever we desire, and all, it's all controlled by the gunas, by the modes. Yeah. Yeah. And unless one situates oneself in the mode of goodness, there's no question of to transcend the modes of material nature. Yeah, mode of goodness. That's why we're following the 4 regulated principles. These 4 principles are not spiritual. They help us to situate ourselves in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Just like the example, when you have something very humid, it's very difficult to burn it. But if it's dry, like dry paper or hay like this, it's very easy to burn it. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered himself to be controlled by his devotees. Yeah. Sanyas kariyami chalilan vrindavana tumiyam alanya advaita bhavana. After accepting the sannyas order, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. Now this was a trick. In this way, his mother was able to see him again by passing through Navadvip. First, he went to the house of Advaitacharya, and they made him think that the river he was passing on was the Ganges, but it was not. No, some other river. But actually it was the Ganges. So he ended up in Mayapur, in Navadvip. And when his mother saw him having taken sannyas, she became she was very disturbed. Because the sannyasi is not supposed to go to visiting family all the time like that. We were used to. Anyway, so she asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to pass, especially in the end. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was first he was a pandit for 24 years. And also Grihastha. And then he took sannyas. And he passed. He lived 18 years in Puri. 6 years he was traveling. In total, it's 48 years. So he stayed only 48 years on this planet. Nilachala sitipati banghila moradanda Toma sabaragad hasnehe amara karya panga. While on the way to Jagannath Puri, you broke my sannyas stuff. I know that all of you have great affection for me, but such things disturb my activities. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a mission, to spread the Sankirtan movement all around and make devotees. Make devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that the quality, the potency of a Vaishnava is seen in how many other persons he had transformed into Vaishnavas. Like a touchstone. Just like Parvati made so many devotees. Of course, there's many more devotees now. But the idea is that the Sankirtan movement should be presented everywhere. Not just in Köln, in die Taunusstraße. But it should be distributed all over the country. Like I mentioned the other day, there's so many people in Germany who had never heard the holy name, who had never received the book, who never tasted a Simply Wonderful, or prasad like that. There's so much more work to do. So many more temples should open all over the place. In the old days, we had many more temples here in Germany. We had a temple in Ulm, we had a temple in München, in Berlin. And these temples were temples. They were not just once a week they had a program or something. No, temples. And so many young people joined, inspired by this adventure of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Let's continue. Any questions or comments? Yeah, okay.
Есть такой к вам вопрос.
What?
Немножко глупый.
Oh.
He has a question.
Должны ли преданные размышлять над книгами Прабхупады?
Should the devotees think about what they are reading in the book of Contemplate?
Или
What?
просто
What?
читать?
I mean, should the devotees contemplate about what they are reading in the books of Srila Prabhupada, or they just should read them? Should they think
Yeah,
about it?
that's the idea, no? When you read Prabhupada's books, that you think accordingly. That's more powerful if you read loud. And we are very fortunate we can hear Prabhupada directly. Of course, you have to learn English. I have told many of my disciples in South America to learn English. And they're doing it. They're learning English. Yeah. Before, they didn't want to learn English because in South America they don't like the Yankees. They don't like the US, United States. Just like in Russia also. Yeah? The Russians normally never learned English, no? Isn't it? Ekayani? Ekayani? Isn't it? No? That's why so many the Russians and also I don't know the other they never normally don't speak English. Yeah, English is well. If you want to hear power directly, it's nice to know English. I don't want to criticize anybody. I hope nobody will become offended now what I say, but sometimes I read Spanish books or also German books, no? And there are points I don't understand. I just can't understand. And I'm accustomed to look for the English book, no? And then I look for the place, no? And all of a sudden it's clear, I hope I didn't offend anybody, especially BBT. Yeah, so what was your question in the end?
He has some clarification.
Huh?
He wants to clarify something.
В чем разница размышления, то есть вимаршана, от спекулятивного размышления? То есть,
how to distinguish their contemplation from their speculation. How to distinguish? We should think about it, but not speculate on what we are reading.
We should just accept it. We have to become accustomed to understand it. Everything that Prabhupada says is perfect. It says perfect. And if you read regularly and you hear Prabhupada, or other classes, naturally you think about it. You read the Bhagavad Gita and there's a detailed explanation of the modes of nature. Next time you go out, look, this is mode of goodness, this is passion, this is ignorance. Isn't it? No? And just like we read on the diary, Transcendental Diary of Hari Sauri, there was a very important person, doctor. He was working in the United Nations in New York. We just read this. That and Prabhupada many times commented on the United Nations how useless is it. Instead of having, instead of uniting everything, they become more and more separate. Since the United Prabhupada used to say, since the United Nations were found, there's so many more flags, different flags. In the beginning, there were not so many flags. That means more and more come more separations, more, like that. Anyway, and so Prabhupada spoke about the peace formula to the doctor. Unless they have a formula like the peace formula, everything will just be going on, speculating, and they never come to an end. They never come to a solution. There's always discussion. Like now they have these big problems now with the wars that are going on in the world, like Ukraine and Israel and all these places. And they come together and just discuss and never come to a conclusion. Yeah. But when they accept the peace formula Prabhupada gave, or Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita, bus. There's a final conclusion. Unless they accept that peace formula, there will never be peace. More and more, this is the age of riña y hipocresía. I only know it in Spanish. What is that in Deutsch? Huh? Streit und Heuchelei. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's characterized by these qualities. But if you become a devotee, you can have your peace. By understanding that Krishna is your eternal friend, He is the proprietor of everything, and He is the supreme enjoyer. Yeah. That's what we experience, no? As devotees, living in the temple. No? Devotees become more and more peaceful, more and more reasonable. They start seeing things as they are, enlightened by the knowledge that Krishna gives us, or Prabhupada gave us. Yeah. And also refuting all kinds of speculative arguments and so-called realizations. Because it's clear. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion. Yeah. Everything is so clear. Because it's given by the perfect person. Yeah. Krishna doesn't make any mistake. We have 3 defects, or 4 defects. We have limited senses, so we don't actually see things as they are, as they really are. We commit mistakes all the time. We commit mistakes, and because of all the mistakes and the limited senses, we live an illusion. We have created our own, our own world, kind of. Yeah. And even though we're limited and we're not perfect, we present ourselves as very important. Yes. My opinion is this. Whereas Prabhupada presents us Bhagavad Gita as it is, not Bhagavad Gita as I think it may be or not. Yeah. That's what's so convincing. When Prabhupada speaks about Bhagavad Gita, everything becomes so clear. Yeah. And that's how many of us became devotees. Yeah. That's why Prabhupada emphasized so much the distribution of books. Because these books educate. Yeah. Before you take up devotional service, you have to be educated properly. That's why we emphasize so much on Bhakti programs. No? If there's no Bhakti program, if there's nobody to teach us how to do things properly, then we just become bewildered and speculate and all that. Yeah. When we sing a kirtan in the morning, we think, wow, now I present my melody, the melodies that are more dear to me, and I present them very nicely, so everyone knows I'm a nice singer, kind of, or nice mridanga player, kind of, harmonium player, like that. Yeah. But there's meters, heißt das? Sag mal, da gibt es Maße für alles. Genau wie when you go into the kitchen to cook, you cannot cook anything like you like. You have recipes on the wall, isn't it? You have recipes there. Yeah? The temple president wants you to make halava. And halava is not something that you speculate on. No. That's why we have cookbooks. And where do these cookbooks come from? Like the biggest cookbook, Yamuna, the biggest cookbook. She learned from Prabhupada. And Prabhupada insisted that she made things, sometimes Prabhupada told her to learn from somebody, from some Indian lady or something. Yeah. But this was all under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. Sweet rice. These were the first preparations that made us devotees. Halava, sweet rice, gulab jamans, simply wonderfuls, ladus, jalebis, pakoras, samosas, puris, chapatis, like that. And who taught us all these things? Prabhupada. Yeah. And this prasadam convinced many of us to become devotees. I'm one of them. Yeah. When I became a devotee, there were no books, practically. No? Prabhupada only had his 3 volumes of Bhagavatam. The Bhagavad Gita was a very, how you say, reduced Bhagavad Gita. No? There were many purports were not there and all this. No? Anyway. No? And then they gave us, when I joined, they gave us books of Walter Eitlitz to read. He had written a book about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other things. Yeah. And then gradually, we had a German book. The first book was Ishopanishad. And we loved it. You know. I remember when I was doing the service of Bhakta leader at one point, part of the Bhakta program was that every morning we would sit down and chant Ishopanishad. And the devotees, the Bhaktas learned the Ishopanishad, many verses, memory, isn't it? Yeah. And anyway, so this was a very nice book. So Prabhupada's books, I like the light in this Kali Yuga. And we should help as much as possible in the distribution, production, translation of the books of Srila Prabhupada and present them to the conditioned souls in the material world. Sorry, I went over time. Sorry. Any question?
Question. I'd like to say, if you allow Guru Maharaj, that it much depends on the translation. Because, for example, Russian translation of Bhagavad Gita.
Sorry?
Translation.
Yeah.
Depends much on translation.
Yeah.
Russian Bhagavad Gita, so the different translators. Sometimes the translators are writing poetry or something like this.
So what?
The translators sometimes they are poetic or I don't know.
What are they?
Poetry,
Oh, poetry.
lyrical.
Yeah.
Russian language is very lyrical. Example is Russian.
Yeah.
That's why translation, it's very nice. I'm not judging, yes, but it is not what exactly what Srila Prabhupada meant when he was.
Anyway, I can't say.
I am sorry.
I never read Bhagavad Gita in Russian.
I also not. That's why we are beginning the course in English in Gauradesh on the 6th of October. I will be teaching English. That's why I say it. For the people who want to understand a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
In Spanish also, there's a lot of difficulties. Yeah, because in Spain, they speak a more conservative Spanish than in South America. Sometimes when we read translations from Spain, in Argentina, people start laughing. What is this? That's why they want to. The same thing happened with England and also America. When the books came from America to England, the devotees in England wanted their own translations. Because American is different than English. Yeah? Anyway, Hare Krishna.
Aber das funktioniert trotzdem.
Huh?
Sogar mit bestimmten. Ich meine, das funktioniert trotzdem. Das ist immer noch transzendentale Bücher.
Yeah. It says that even though,
Prozess funktioniert.
ja, selbst wenn es nicht professionell präsentiert wird, ist es trotzdem, wie sagt man, geladen mit spiritueller Energie. Ja. Aber auf der gleichen Seite, at the same time, we should present the books as good as possible. Yeah. Just like they working over. I heard they in the German BBT or the BBT in Sweden, they're occupying devotees to polish the German books. I say, yeah. Die Bücher polieren, dass jede Ausgabe immer besser und besser wird, identischer wird. You agree? Because you go like this. Huh?
Заключительное слово.
What?
He wanted, he forgot.
Для себя. Хотел сказать, что я понял.
What?
He wanted tell what he understood.
Conclusion he wanted to say. Conclusive words.
Sì, sì.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanande.
Das soll uns Bhakti Bhusana Maharaj ki.
Ist das aufgenommen worden, das Hari Bol?
Ja, da war nichts.
Küss.
Ja, danke schön. Das war wunderschön, Lektion Maharaj. Ich habe das vermisst, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ich habe das schon